the power, or they have a little bit of a notice up. They do that a lot about moderation. Just send me an email. I'm live. I'm live, YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna close that. I hope it didn't say something I need to know for today, but we'll see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a snowed in moment of harmony. We are coming on a little later than our normally regularly scheduled time, but I'm about to explain all of that to you. I'm about to get all into a lot of what is going to be added into this moment today. Welcome to a moment of harmony. If you are in the DMV area, and even at this point, it doesn't even really have to be the DMV area. You guys snowed in, okay? We're all snowed in. It is special, okay? It's special outside. I'm just gonna give us some more little. There we go. Give some little space. I just feel like I'll be so up on the camera. So we got snowed in. It is quite the scene outside, and we're here on a Sunday moment. We're in a snowy Sunday morning, which means it is the opportune time for us to sit with each other. Cause where you got to go? Where do we have to go? No, seriously, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your self-care routine, for joining in with me on this cozy Sunday morning, on us coming together to continue to manifest more. Hey, Mr. Carter, you not snowed in? I'm snowed in. He said, who's snowed in? It's a little snowy around here, but I love it. Listen, I love the sacred serenity of the world being still. I love looking out. There's no footprints on snow. It is just quiet for the world. You hear life differently. I love it. I love the hustle and bustle is so distracting. It's so imposing. I feel like it's so imposing. So I'm grateful for just the serenity when nature just says I am. Right? When nature just reflects its oneness with creation. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, you shoveled. Okay. You got out there and shoveled at 5 a.m. Are you, Superman? All right. But no, welcome everybody. We definitely have a awesome moment planned today. Now, I will say this in alignment with our moment. A couple of things. We're in a. I don't. Do I have any birthday shout outs? Oh, neat EY. I have a neat EY birthday shout out for tomorrow. I have my goddaughter who transitioned at 5 weeks old, who would be 13 tomorrow. Oh my gosh, can't believe that was 13 years ago. This time thing is crazy. Okay, the EY, that's the end of the 126. There's a lot. There's a lot of birthdays, I think, coming up on the end. January is just lit. Okay, people were getting things in at the beginning of the year. Peace and welcome to a moment of harmony. But I do want to say this. Okay, so we got that. Happy birthday. Anybody's birthday's coming to Aqua season. Gang gang. It's Aqua season. So Aquarius, we are in. Okay, we in. It's our season. The water bearer is doing what it does. Okay, planting, rebirthing, all the things. So, no, but shout out and much love to all my Aquas. And then, so this is the part. Now, so I am getting all ready, right? Me and the children, we stayed up pretty late preparing for the snow. We've been really excited about this. And so I get up, I'm like pumped, I'm ready to go live, I'm ready to have like a cozy shut-in moment. I like intimate moments, so I'm like really excited to get into a space of like, look at us, just snowed in, taking care of each other, uplifting each other, building each other up, right? I'm getting all ready for that. And my grandmother calls me. My maternal grandmother calls me. Now, normally I don't answer, especially when I'm about to do something, because my grandmothers, plural, can be very long-winded. I know. I got it honestly, okay? They can be very long-winded, and a lot of times they don't care that I have something to do. I can get on the phone and I can literally be like, hey, grandma, yeah, I got something going on, but you good? And then I'm on the phone for an hour and I could be asleep, I could be awake, I could be cooking, I could be flipping. They don't know because they just are going. But I'm grateful that I have my grandmothers that are able to get on the phone and go hard, okay? This time I answered because it's a snowstorm. My grandmother is 89 years old. She lives a little bit of ways away from me. And I answer because I want to make sure she's okay, even though I got about 30 minutes till it's time for me to go live. And I'm like still putting the finishing touches on my moment. So I answer and I let her know, hey, Grandma, we're good. We're safe. Are you good? Are you safe? You have everything you need. Your electricity is good because I got to get ready to go live at 10. Now, I know my grandma doesn't know what I'm talking about when I say I'm about to go live at 10. What? She don't have, So, but I'm just letting her know I stream, Grandma. I'm about to go live, blah, blah, blah. Just, it's something, I got something to do at 10, right? It doesn't mean nothing. My grandma talks to me literally from that 9:30 period until 10:15, but she shares so much of herself. And what I was able to come because I was getting ready to rush her off, right? I was getting ready to be like, I gotta do this. See, part of running a family, a bustling household, a part of it, a great part of it is organization. So even on snow days, even on down days like this, I pretty much have the day mapped out. So in my mind, it's like I have to get up, I have to stream, I have to cook, I have to, like we have these things to do today, and I keep it pretty regimented. Not tightly, because your girl is Aquarius, but organizationally, we gotta keep things. Hi, peace, and welcome to a moment of harmony. So I'm just like, okay, Grandma, I got to, you know what I'm saying? One thing gets behind my whole day. But I realized in talking to my grandma, she wasn't just calling to see if we were all set for the storm, were we safe. She begins to just reminisce on her life. She just begins. So I'm starting to feel like, oh, this shut in, this snow day is maybe coming with a little bit of loneliness. It's coming with a little bit of, I guess, like, her just sitting with herself, reflection. That's it. It's coming with a little bit of reflection. So I decide do not rush her because my grandmother is 89 years old, and I'm sure one day I will wish she will call me and just talk about a bunch of nothing. What sounds like a bunch of nothing to me sometimes. But I'll be happy that but I'm happy that she can call me, and my grandmother 89 can, cuz I mean she's talking about her marriages. She's talking, I mean she starts out talking about the snow, but it goes somewhere else quick like I figured it could. Um I mean, and she's 89 years. She's like going eons before I even existed. She's back in her early 20s talking about those types of things. And I was starting to get a little bit, or I have a lot to do today, right? And my feelings. But I realized like your grandmother is 89 years old and she can recall things from her teens and her 20s. She has no issues with her memory. She has no issues with her communication. Her voice is just fine. Like 89 years old, and the worst problem you have today is that she wants to talk to you right before you're scheduled to do something else. She wants to give you a 45-minute walk down memory lane. And it started to really make me think about the moment that we're going to have today. And in one breath, I was sitting there saying, I gotta finish my moment. Like, I was starting to feel like she was getting in the way of me doing what I was doing because I'm trying to be present and I'm trying to listen, but I'm also like creating. And I realized that she was not getting in the way of my moment. She made me late, right? But who does it around here, okay? She was not only just, hi, boob, how are you looking today? Not only, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not only did she, oh my goodness, Tay and Shrink, send love to who keeps calling me. She trying to talk to your girl. It's okay, I love you, Shrink, boo. Um, but it made me think like, okay, I got into the point where I was like, she is really getting into, I'm trying to do what I have to do. And what I'm working on when it comes to the moment is manifestation. I'm working on the way that we see things. I'm working on how we create realities for ourselves. And I'm trying to rush an 89-year-old bountiful basket of wisdom off the phone so that I can continue to go into manifesting and creating life and how we create life for ourselves. And I'm thinking, like, girl, she is not getting in the way of your moment. She is sent this morning to be a part. She is about to create your moment, girl. You are about to revamp whatever you thought you were going to get on here and say, and you are going to speak from whence this wisdom is coming, from when this information is coming. So I say all of that today because I did change the title. I changed all our stuff, remixed it. And today's moment is entitled Decide How You Want to See This Life. Decide how you want to see this life. When I was talking to my grandmother, and shout out to Mamie, and I know she probably does not know about streaming and all those things, but we have family and just love to her. Tell her that Harmony was dedicating the moment to Miss Mamie Alice. Um, so when I was talking to her, she started off was like, "You guys are good. You all set for the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Grandma, I'm all set. We're good to go. We're great." And she goes like, "Well, how is everything coming with your move and your relocation? Are you feeling settled? All of the things." She's asking all these questions about all the things that I've been dealing with, right? So I'm letting her know, like, Grandma, there's been I've had so many decisions to make. I'm putting so many things in place. I'm still, um, solidifying a lot of things and just making sure that everything is flowing well. The life of the children, the home, the academics. I'm letting her know about the people getting in my way, right? All of these things. And Grandma says this. She says, "Well, I know you're going to figure it out. I know y'all keep seeing me look over here. It's because I'm my own DJ, and the YouTube is doing whatever it wants to do. So I just fixed it. Okay. I got to own my own soundtrack. I got to do the moment, do the soundtrack. Don't worry. One day, a Moment of Harmony will have the whole crew in the studio. I'm seeing it. Okay, it goes in alignment with our mission today. What does I say? So she says, look, she says, I know you're going to figure it all out and you're going to work it all out. Now, no one knows what I've been dealing with, right? Just as no one knows what you've been dealing with. No one knows all of the weight and the details of like taking control of your life, going after everything you truly desire, taking grief, taking disappointment, taking frustration, molding it to your favor. That's a lot of work. It takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of focus. And oh my goodness, right? So I don't even give people the whole scoop. I didn't even give my grandma, like, this is what I'm dealing with. I give her a loose synopsis. Hey, I'm making things work. I'm bending air, okay? I'm air bending over this joint, okay? I got a lot going on. She says, well, I know you're going to figure it out because you were too bright of a child to be a dumb woman. And that was her advice for like what I'm dealing with right now. But what it made me look at is like her perspective on me and what I'm capable of, and how it may not necessarily differ, but how she's in a different position about where I am right now. And she said this to me. She said, "You were too bright of a child to be a dumb woman." She said, and one thing, I'm trying to think because she started singing a song and I wish I could get the lyrics. Yeah, she said, "Somebody loves me." That's what she was singing. "Somebody loves me." I can't get the tune in my head, but she said, "Somebody loves me. His name is Jesus." Right? So she was talking about like making it to where she is at 89 years old, and she was kind of correlating to, "Girl, you're gonna be fine. I hope you ain't worried about nothing." But she was saying somebody loves her. Her name is Jesus, and she said, "Oh my goodness." But what it was making me, oh, this is what she was saying. She was talking about where she is now, how she saw a woman the other day in her 70s. She was just talking about how good God has been to her, right? My grandmother has been retired for years. She's 89, but she's been retired for a number of years. She lives definitely a very, I would say, comfortable life. My grandfather transitioned, and she was talking to me about that. I mean, she was reminiscing today, and she was saying that how she was so sad when my grandfather died, but God told her that he was alone to her, not didn't belong to her, and that shifted her perspective. My grandmother is the one; she's the youngest of like 12 children. Her parents are deceased, all her siblings are deceased, her best friends are deceased, and now her husband is deceased. And I'm hearing this woman on the phone going down memory lane, stories I've never heard before, perspectives of her I've never even entertained. She's singing, she's talking, she's being vibrant, and it's making me think like, wow, this life, I know that was a lot, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. But this life that we are living really, really, really is all about how we are seeing it. We live the life we see. We live the life we see because I talk to people, I'm around people, I'm connected to people that if you knew what they were battling with, if you knew what they were struggling with, if you knew what was on their heart and mind every day, you would not expect the person, the presentation that is before you, whether it is just somebody on the phone or online or what have you, just wouldn't expect to see that. And it brought me back, even when I was talking to my grandmother about her just, she was telling me about her breakfast. She's like, I'm about to make some eggs. She's coming off of a fast. I was like, Grandma, look at you still fasting. She's coming off of a fast, and today breaks her fast, and she gets to watch TV, and she gets to eat, and she about to have a good day. And I'm just thinking like, wow, I know people who haven't had a fraction of your loss. They haven't experienced a fraction of the racism you've experienced. They haven't experienced a fraction of the sexism and the genderism that you've experienced. They haven't experienced a fracture of what you've gone through, and yet and still in this moment. Not that you don't have sad times, not that you don't have times of regret or remorse, but that you're sitting in a day at 89 years old. And y'all, listen, I've been thinking a lot, okay? Because your girl is 2 weeks from 40. We're 2 weeks from wrapping up our manifestation moment. I'm 2 weeks from 40 as of yesterday. And I've been thinking. There's been a lot of thinking when it comes to my next chapter. Because getting very intentional. Your girl is getting very serious. I've done a lot of what is it, training wheels. I've had the training wheels on for a long time, ready to take them off. Okay, so I was just thinking like, man, once I get to 40, I remember thinking how long 40 would take to get here. I remember thinking 40 was so far away. I just remember thinking like I have forever to 40 until I wake up at the door of 40, right? It's like it's here. All the goals, all the dreams, all the desires, they're here. So that means look how quick this 40 came. I'm sitting here like I can yesterday recall like me and my sister sitting in front of the TV watching Sister. We're Disney kids all day, okay? Watching all the Disney stuff, Free Willy, all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And just being in the crux of 90s. Time is flying. Being in the crux of 90s. Thank you. Of the 90s childhood, right? And it's like, when and how did 40 years go? How that happened so fast? And then to think that in another 40 years, how quick this got here, I'll be 80, right? So I'm listening to my grandmother talk, and I'm listening differently. And I'm just like, wow, I'm understanding, I'm digesting. Because there's times I'm like, Grandma, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because she will change a story on you quick. She'll be in one, she'll go to another. But just getting all her stuff out. But again, with today's story, I was like, you know what, Grandma? I told her at about 10:15, Grandma, I would love for you to keep going on about what happened. But I do have to get and tune in. I've been all ready for my moment all morning. I will check back in with you. Let me know if you need anything. But I have to go. And when I left, what I was able to take was all of the wisdom on top of what I've been thinking and feeling going into 40. Oh my goodness, what a spiritual journey to 40 has been. But going into that journey, but also just having the random gift of Mamie Alice taking me down memory lane, back into the 50s and the 60s today. And so it made me just really want to say we're talking all about how we are recreating realities for ourselves, how we are using our lessons and our experiences to reshape the future for us, how we are using our experiences and our wisdom to reshape a present for us that serves us, that satisfies us, that fulfills us, that grows us, that keeps us on mission, that keeps us on point, that keeps us in purpose. And I said, what better way to do that than for us to really get down to the nitty gritty? A lot of times when we were being raised or we were growing up, a lot of it was based around like deciding how we want to live. I want to live this way. You know, we used to play, that's my car. I want to go to this college. I want to marry this type of person. I mean, we were big on that as kids, like just planning, planning, planning how we want to live this life. And a lot of us are getting caught up on how we want to live this life. I want to live rich. I want to live free. I want to live, we have all types of ideas about how we want to be in this reality. And I said, what if there was a less of a focus? Because the how, you know what I'm saying? That's happening with or without you, right? We what is the part of this thing that's not happening with or without us, right? The how is happening with or without you. I mean, you can get on board, or what is this hair doing? You can get on board or you cannot get on board, but the how is howing. So instead of saying how I want to live this life, which has become a major focus for a lot of us, I want us to focus more on how we see the life, how we see our lives, and how that better dictates how we live our lives, right? How we see it is how we live it. And perspective shifts, wisdom, all of these things are about how we see things. Maturity. We all have times when we were saying, when I used to think, I used to believe, um, cater to, um, what is it? I used to just be geared more towards one way of doing things or one understanding. And then many of us, we learned to do something differently or better. We developed, we graduated somehow into another way of doing it. All of these things are shifting with the way we see things. So let's get into manifestation, right? So we're manifesting more. We're in a manifesting series. We've been manifesting more for a minute now. And we have some shifts, child. Things have been shifting. So we're in a manifesting series. We're talking about the way we view, how we use what we have, and how we create. We've been doing that for a long time. So if all of these things start to shift how we do things, um, our desires, our goals, our vision, all of these things shift not with us per se, but they shift with how we are seeing things. Because you're the same person, right? Same DNA, same flesh and blood. You're the same being that you always have been, but you're changed. When people say you're so different, when people say you've evolved, they're not talking about, well, sometimes, yes, there's physical changes, right? We do, we grow up. But what they say is like, oh, you are just the same. Have you ever heard someone say that when they're talking to you, like, you're just the same? What they're saying is at the core of you, you're still silly, or you're still so serious, or whatever characteristic qualities you have, that is who you are. When it comes to you beginning to change that, there was a time where you may have been reckless, naive, gullible, right? We've all been there. There's a time where you may have been people pleasing or clout chasing or what is it, down on yourself, hard on yourself. What is changing when those things no longer exist in your personality, in your character? What has changed? When did you genetically change? Like, are you another person DNA wise? Nope, same mom, same dad, right? Are you another person? A lot of people say, money wise. Have you gotten richer? Has that changed you? That can't be the case because we've seen some rich fools, okay? We've seen some rich people losing good quality of life. Is it the people around you? Did they change you? Well, we know some people that are grounded by people that they have been connected to. We know that what is really changing about your life is not always what it seems. Meaning, like, it's not the income bracket, it's not the status, it's not the circle, it's not the mates per se. And a lot of times it's easy for us because we'll be like, oh, back when I was with this person, I was a different person. Back when I went to this school, I used to be so outgoing, or I used to do this thing or that thing. And it is quick for us to be able to say that the shift of our reality took place with a person, place, or thing. It's easy, right? Because person, places, and things are always changing. So because they're always changing, when we change, we feel like that's what did it. This new relationship, this new job, this new diets, right? All of this new philosophy that I've adhered to, all of these things have changed me. What is really changing when we're growing, when we're expanding, when we're becoming? Thank you all so much. What's really changing, not what appears to be changing, not what's going to change with or without you. People, places, things, with or without you. What's really changing is your mind. The way you are seeing yourself, the way you are seeing this life. And as you begin to see and view life differently, life becomes different. We're quick to be like, I'm a grown, you know what I'm saying? I'm grown now. What I look like, don't we say things like that? What I look like doing X, Y, and Z. Peace, my love. So good to see you, Mama Yatali. Um, what I look like doing this and that. The perspective has changed. Um, like the saying goes in the Bible, when I was a child, I thought as a child, right? But when I became an adult, I put away childish things, paraphrasing. But that is all about the way I see things. Because we know people whose perspective doesn't shift, who still see a way of life that isn't serving them, who still see a way of life that is not in alignment with their age or with their position, with their role, right? We know that there are moms that are still babysitters. There are dads, that are still running the street. There are politicians who are biased, right? We have all of these things where it's like, I don't think the position changes you. I don't think that's what does it, right? So, when it comes to true change, when it comes to true realignment, it is always peace, welcome, welcome, welcome. When it comes to true alignment, we are totally getting into a space of deciding how you want to see this life. Not how you want to live it, not how you want it to look, not how it will look one day, but how you see it. What I'm working on, when I'm working on my words of affirmation, what I'm working on when I'm working on my to-do list, my goals, when I'm working on my spirit regulation, when I'm working, peace and welcome. When I'm working, what I'm working on is how I see this life. How everyone, there can be 10 of us in a room looking at the same perspective. We've seen that so much with psychology. Look at this picture and tell me what you see. And everyone sees something different. And everyone that sees something different isn't wrong. And what does that mean? That means that the way you see things matters for your reality. It matters for how you react, how you respond, how you believe, how you show up, how you give. The way you see things matters most for your reality. So, in our moment, in our manifestation moments, we've been reading some excerpts out of The Secret. I've been working largely in The Secret as well as a number of other things, other resources. But I've been working largely in The Secret for as it pertains to the laws of attraction, and I've been curating our moments loosely around that. So I'm going to quickly read the excerpt that we got going on for this week, and then we're going to get further into this moment on how we can more manage, how we can get more responsible, how we can get more intentional about the way we see life. Not what we want to change about it, not what we think about it, not what happened in it, but the way you are viewing it, the lens in which your life is going through, which is creating the reality on which is your life. So we want to get into it. We want to make sure that we are all up in to that understanding, and that we have more of a concrete standing in it. We are not haphazard about the way that we see things. We get those tools to see intentionally. Okay, so this excerpt again comes out of The Secret Daily Teachings by Rhonda Byrne. I have all the little clips coming out of it, sorry. It says, "It is so important that you are grateful for everything in your life. Many people focus on the one thing they want and then forget to be grateful for all the things they have. Without gratitude, you cannot achieve anything through the law of attraction. Because if you are not emanating gratitude from your being, then by default, you are emanating ungratefulness. Be proactive and use the frequency of your being to receive what you want. Be proactive and receive the frequency of your being to receive what you want." Again, that was the excerpt this week out of The Secret, Rhonda Byrne, the calendar book. But of course, like I say, they have book interviews, documentaries, books, movies, all the stuff. Okay, so in essence, when we talk about deciding how you want to see this life, being a massive and major tool, peace, 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 being a massive and major tool for manifestation. I want us to, I was listening to, I wish I could remember the name, but I was listening to, a lot of times when I'm driving, I will listen to recordings and audios on manifestation, on creating better life for yourself, on empowering your energy or uplifting your spirit, like raising your frequency. That's where I'm going with that. But I was listening to one yesterday, and the guy said, who I was listening to, he said, I have to get the name for you because it was actually an awesome recording. But he said, your worries, your fears, and your anger are prayers for what you don't want, right? Your worries, your fears, your angers are prayers towards the things you don't want. And that really stuck with me because I'm a prayer warrior, right? I am a praise and worshiper, a spiritual being of light. And so when I hear a prayer for what you don't want, it was like, What that spoke to me was about energy, the strength and the power of energy, and how we are not machines or robots. We don't just turn on and off. We are always in operation. You are always in operation. Happy, sad, tired, glad, mad, you're operating. You are sending out a frequency in order to operate. Think about a cell phone or something that runs off of a frequency. You do not decide what things, I'm not going to say you don't decide because we do decide, but it is unrealistic, right, to think that the frequency isn't always looking for a line of reality to jump on, right? It is, you would be remiss or you would be mistaken to not keep in mind that your frequency is always looking for a reality to jump on. Oh, thank you, Booby. So here's the thing. I'm going to go into our first point. Our first point is your mode is magnetic. And not being a machine and not being something that ever, I don't even care if I'm sleeping, right? When I'm sleeping, I am getting downloads. I was waking up this morning with a dream that made me go, like, wake up. You know what I'm saying? The downloads are coming even when you, especially when you're sleeping. Why is that? It is because there is no off button to human energy, divine energy influence. If I am not directing my frequency towards a positive reality, like the excerpt said, by default, it is going towards a negative reality. This becomes so important in manifestation because we get very idle. We get very a little lazy. We get a little unintentional about what is coming to us and then complain about what's coming to us. And then are upset about where we are. You know, today's not a great day. I feel a little blue. I feel a little stuck. I feel a little hopeless. I just want you to know you don't just feel a little hopeless. You are not just feeling a little blue. There is a frequency that you magnetize to yourself. There is a reality that you jumped onto with your energy frequency called thought. With your energy frequency called thought. There is not no, today's not my day. Why? Why? Where are you and what have you subscribed to that made today not your day? Why would any day not be your day? You are here, you are breathing, you are vibrant, you are divine. What is it that needs to be done? This is where gratitude comes in. What is it that needs to be done? Not to make today my day, because that's where we go with it, right? To make the day my day, to make the money come in, to make the people act right. Not what needs to be done to make these things happen. Remember, we talked about that. Shout out to Honey Goddess. I don't have to make these things happen. I just have to make these things welcome, right? So not what do I need to do, thank you so much, to make this my day. What is it that I need to do to jump on the frequency of the reality that works for me? Gratitude, right? Gratitude, love. Kingdom asked me the other day, he said, Mom, if you could only give me one lesson to hold on to the rest of my life, what would it be? What would be the greatest lesson you ever learned in life? And I told him that love is the key to life, right? That is what I want you to always hold on to. There is nothing that cannot be figured out, that cannot be grown, that cannot be healed, that cannot be developed without love. And if you have love for yourself, if you have love for creation, if you have love for this life, you create a portal of existence that most could never really reach, because there is so much in despair, so much in resentment, so much. It is the highest vibration. That's what I was telling him, essentially, the highest vibration. Always remember it. It's going to get you out of a bad thought. It's going to get you out of a bad day. It's going to get you out of a bad relationship. It's going to get you out of a really bad situation. Mentally elevating yourself to the highest frequency is love. Okay? And now what if I don't love the job? What if I don't love this person? What if I don't love this reality? I don't love this house, right? What if I don't love the things? This is when we come to gratitude. Because every single existence or every single experience you are in, you have drawn yourself to. Thank you, boo. You have drawn yourself to, right? If you've drawn yourself to any experience, something about you resonates with it. It doesn't always have to be a positive thing that resonates with it, but something about you has resonated with it, and on some frequency level, you decided to sit there, okay? Now, if you have magnetized something into your life, you have to love yourself more. So you're drawing in relationships and jobs and connections that don't undervalue you, so that you can see in your life what undervaluing you is looking like. If you are reckless and undisciplined, unfocused when it comes to your finances, you draw in some desperate situations so that you can see and actualize in your life what it is doing for you to not be focused and disciplined resourcefully. And then, so even when you say, I didn't draw in this type of job, I didn't draw in this, there's a lesson you need to use, or there's a lesson that you need to learn. There is a journey and a frequency that you're on that's resonating with you. You don't like it, let's shift it. You don't like your reality, let's shift it. And how we do that is how we see where we are, realistically, lovingly, gracefully, intentionally. Shift where you are. Decide how you want to see this life. Do I want to see everything as being a victim? Do I want to see everything from the place of the child that didn't have or the child that had to deal with? Do I want to see everything from a place of struggle and pain and rage? Do I want to see this life from a place of lack? Because that's the frequency you will ride on. That's the frequency you wake up in. And then you'll say, not my greatest season. This life here is ghetto. Throw 2026 away. And I'm saying, no, throw some of them thoughts away. Right? No, some of the way you feel about yourself, that's what's ghetto. You not coming into it's not a bad season, it's a bad mindset. Right? You're in a rough mindset, sis, bro. And trust me, I am sharing. I'm not preaching. It is again so easy because a great deal of who we are, not primarily, but a great deal is physical. We are physical beings. And a lot of the spiritual journey is to overcome the physical beingness, or not overcome it, but to overshadow it with the spirit. And that's hard to do when you're in the real life presence. I'm really looking at this gas tank. I'm really looking at this bill. I'm really looking at this refrigerator. I'm really looking at this person. So, in the physical, the great spiritual work comes to being able to see it from the bird's eye view. That's my spiritual beingness. That's my I can't lose. That's my I am chosen. That's my I was sent here. That's why what have I come to learn? That's my spiritual perspective. Again, I can say, yes, ma'am, detach from it. And ain't can't nobody detach like an aqua, okay? Um, yes. But that is how so that becomes a great deal of our spiritual growth, our spiritual development, our spiritual conditioning is being able to see the physical from the lens of your spiritual. Decide how you want to see this life. Ashe. A spiritual being having a human experience. Ashe, yes, Tay. Shout out to Professor Griff. Decide how you want to see this life. So I can see it from the lesson, from the classroom. That's what I'll say. Shout out to KC. She calls the physical realm soul school. I can see it from the classroom, or I can see it from the director, right? If I'm sitting in the classroom, I'm learning and I'm trying to figure it. Yes, gratitude to you, beautiful. I'm sitting in here, I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't know what happened. I'm learning. I'm configuring. I'm researching. I'm conspiring. I'm moving. I can see life from that perspective, or I know. I am knowing. I am being. I am aligning. I am creating. Those are two different perspectives. You will have internal conflict if you do not align those perspectives. And the way you can do that is you can either bring your spiritual eye down to the physical level and limit it to only what you see, hear, and feel around you, to the five senses. Or you can elevate your physical experience to your spiritual beingness, which is the highest level of being. And then it doesn't matter what you see, hear, feel, smell, because the spirit is a knowing. It is a creating. It is an energetic power source for your life. Again, I can go to this job and I can plug in and I can feel real good about myself because I make this much money. Or I can feel real good because my husband looked this way. I can feel real good because my children go to this school. And I can feel like I am good. Or I can elevate myself, be grateful for my blessings, learn from my lessons, but elevate myself to the beingness of why did I come here? How am I developing? What is truly growing within me, and are things growing around me? True divinity. And then if I can stop measuring my life and the power and success of my life on the superficial, then I will always be able to gauge in a deeper spiritual way, and therefore I have shifted the lens of my life. That sounded like a lot, so we're going to break it down, right? Your mode is magnetic. You are not a robot. You do not go off when you feel bad, when you feel low, when you feel down. You are not only up when you put on a mask and you're ready to go. Your energy is ever flowing, and it is ever searching for a frequency to make your reality. Your energy is forever searching for a frequency. This is what it does to make your reality. You are the one that lets your energetic field know if we're going high or if we're going low. If you're in a mentality, are you broke? Are you impoverished? Are you depressed? Are you sick? Are you sad? Or are you encouraged? Are you hopeful? Are you strengthened? Are you what is it? Hopeful? Where are you? Okay? So your mode is magnetic. Think of yourself like a cell phone, like we put ourselves in airplane mode, or a laptop, or any of these electronic devices that we love, and you decide on the mode you are in. Are you in low mode, low power mode, not much going to give out, not much going to come in? Or are you in high power mode? Know that every thought, every decision, every interaction, um, every choice, every moment, ding, is a power mode. Low or high? That's you, sis. Low or high? That's you, King. Low or high? Where are we? Your mode is magnetic. Don't ever be lackadaisy when it comes to your mode, when it comes to us trying to decide how we want to see this life. How am I truly going to view this life? How am I really, like I said with my grandma, she said she was depressed about losing my grandfather. She was talking to God saying, "Why'd you take him?" Until she heard back from God saying, "I loaned him to you." It got a lot easier to accept the reality with a loan, a 52-year loan. Whew! It got a lot easier to accept it with a loan than when you thought you owned this experience in a certain way, as opposed to you being flowing and allowing through an experience. Very different. I don't own the actions of other people. I don't own the ills of the world. I don't own the shambles of this society, but I control the flow of ease in my life. I control and attract and align the flow of progress. Soon as I start thinking I can't, soon as I start thinking it won't, soon as I start beating it down, I have adopted and attracted a frequency to reinforce that. Change how you see the life. Decide. How do you want to see this life? What is the lens that I want to look through? Now, gratitude, this is our second point. Gratitude is a lens of light. I want us to think about being in a dark space. I mean, just being in a dark room. It's full of stuff. I mean, full, but it's dark. All you can do when it's dark is bump into stuff. Try to feel with your hands. Try to feel with our senses, how close something is, because it's dark. You're in a dark space. This is how moving through life without intentional gratitude is. We just bump into experiences. We bump into people. We bump into patterns and traumas. The room is full of things, but we can't see. This life is full of things. The world is full of things that are not clear to us because gratitude is a lens of light. A lot of times, light seekers or light workers will all say, use gratitude. Gratitude is a hack, a heightened energy hack, a heightened frequency hack. And it works. Listen, the moment you start to say, this is not, I'm so tired of this, I can't do this, does that not become your body? Does it not become your day? Does it not consume your week? Does it not become your resources? But the moment you say, look, I don't know this is happening. I don't know what's coming about from this, but I know it's working out in my favor. And to prove it, I'm going to say thank you for the sunlight. That's what the excerpt said, right? Excerpt said we rather focus on the one thing we don't have than the many things we do. And it is stunting us. It is limiting us in our powers of creation and growth. So thank you for this beautiful snow. I can't tell you how many people were like, it's gonna snow, it's gonna be messy, we're gonna be locked in. Child, I said thank you for the quiet. Thank you for the winter wonderland. Thank you for the beauty of snow. We could be living somewhere that's dehydrated, that hasn't got rain or snow or anything in years. It could be worse. Thank you for the quietness of the home, the peace of being locked in with loved ones. Thank you for being in a space. Thank you for allowing me to make provisions for such an event. The gratitude immediately starts to ashe. The gratitude immediately changes the predicament. Immediately. When you get to the point you want to kill you're looking at your kids. Maybe I shouldn't say that word, but your kids are doing what children do, okay? And you just like, oh my God. But I remember wanting a child. I remember giving birth. I remember carrying this child. Thank you for a healthy child. Thank you for a child to get frustrated with. Thank you for a child that is healthy, that is living their life, that is still here. Gratitude. Gratitude becomes a lens of light. The darker the day, the darker the moment, the darker the decision, the darker the times, I promise you, decide how you want to see it. I'm about to say I go. Child, yeah, I done came out my UIP days. Mommy Mercy. Listen, the girl is almost 40. Grace and mercy on my brain. Okay? Um, Gratitude is a lens of light. Decide how you want to see something and watch it change. I'm looking at this thing that I'm not happy with, that I'm disappointed in. But what happens when I start to see it as a lesson? What happens when I start to see it as a stepping stone? What happens when I start to see it as a footnote? What happens when I begin to see it? It allows me then to be grateful, right? I could, nope. Mommy Mercy, I'm live. Pause. That's Grandma Mercy. She was going to come in, okay? Pause. Go find your aunt. I'm almost done. Mommy Mercy. Now, gratitude is the lens of light. When you are in, a dark space, I can recall times when I was like, this is, what can I think about? Oh. I was pregnant with Kingdom. And people who don't know me in my personal life, that is my fourth child. He is about to be 12 years old on next week. He'll be 12 years old next week. Oh my goodness. But I was pregnant with him, and I was working really hard. I wasn't taking any days off at work because I wanted all of my maternity leave. I wanted to build up my time so I could stay with him longer once he was born. But it was tough. Like, big pregnancy. I was big as a house. That belly was out to the touching the door before I got there, right? And it was just a lot. I was working like crazy. I didn't have a car yet. So I was like on public transportation a lot. It was a lot back then. Even sometimes I look back and I'm trying to figure out, girl, I just survived the way I saw things, right? I knew things differently, and so I saw things differently. And then one time, while I was at work, I was checking a personal email at work. I was waiting on something to come through, some things I was looking at for like houses and things like that. And I went to go check an email. And no, actually, I didn't even go check. I got a notice that said my email had been hacked, and that I needed to reach out to, I was back, these are my Yahoo days. And it said I needed to reach out to Yahoo customer service, and they provided a phone number. And they were like, you need to reach out to Yahoo because your email has been hacked. You have a lot of information that's been compromised. Please reach out to customer service so we can help you. Girl, chat, just as green as a blade of grass. I'm at work like, oh, as soon as I get a second. So I do my little filing. I was a secretary. I did the little things. And then I reach out to the number they gave me. Yes, this is Harmony. You know what I'm saying? This is Harmony Brown. And I got a notice saying that something's going on with my Yahoo account. What can we do? The person is like, don't worry, we'll fix it. I can see, yep, it's been compromised. It's not really, it's not a great thing, but you called us just in time. We're going to help you get everything. I'm like, whew, okay. They say, I need your IP address. We need this. Half the time I didn't even know what they were asking for. They were telling me where to find numbers. Look on the side of your computer. Look under your modem. Da 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 da. And I'm thinking I'm getting my personal email fixed. Child, this was a hack, right? This was not a hack. What do they call it? I think you call it a hack, a hijack, child. I was being targeted. Okay, it was a scam. It was a scam, and I had just given them all of the. They got me the big time, and I had just given them all the information to my computer, right? Didn't know it. I'm sitting there thinking they fixing my email. And my boss calls me in the office, and I'm like 8 months pregnant. I have not taken one day off the entire pregnancy. And I mean, there were times when I was at the front desk regurgitating into a bucket because I was that sick from pregnancy. Exhausted, sick, anemic, all the things. But I was determined to not use any days off because I wanted to have more time with my baby after the baby was born. He was my first baby because with the first three I was a housewife. So he would be my first time as a working mom. And I was in my feels about it. I was like, I got to give him all the time I can. I need 12 weeks at least, you know. So I'm sitting up there and my boss calls me in and he has tears in his eyes. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, Harmony, at that time I worked for the health department, the city of Baltimore, right? He goes, you have allowed a hacker into the system, into the firewall of the agency, and it has attacked every computer in our agency. And I'm sitting there, when I let somebody in, I'm clueless. They go like, did you give anybody information about your computer? And I was like, just y'all to fix my email. Green child. He goes like, that wasn't Yahoo. They didn't fix. So I'm showing them the email. Like, look, they said call this number. Wrong, fake, right? This is before it became a big thing for us to get these trainings. I never had a training before then. This was a long time ago too. But oh my goodness, the scam, right? The phishing, they got me. So my boss, he was crying because he had to put me on suspension. He had to suspend me for 3 days. And he didn't want to because he knew I was a hard worker. He knew I would never intentionally do anything like that. He knew that, my great shout out to Mr. Ball. He was an amazing boss. And he was a minister and a boss, and he was a great person to work through while you're pregnant and going through because he had a heart. But and that's not that doesn't happen everywhere. Okay, I was blessed, and continue to be blessed over time. So, but again, what you putting out, what you getting back, right? So, I was initially sitting there. He's just like, Harmony, I know you've been, because my coworkers were telling me, girl, go home, take a nap. I would take a nap on my lunch breaks rather than eat because I was so tired being anemic and pregnant. And he would say, go home for the rest of the day. And I would be like, oh no, I need my time. I need my time. I need my time. And so he was like, I know you've been working hard and you didn't want to, take any time. And I know you're a single mom and I know you're pregnant. And he was crying worse than me, right? He's like, but I got to suspend you for 3 days for this mistake. And I was just like, I was hurt. You know me, I'm just a good at two shoes. Miss Perfectionist over here. I was mainly just mad that I made a mistake, okay? And definitely hopefully that it didn't cost anything to the agency that I worked for and cared about. But when I got home, I was pregnant. I was hormonal. I was crying. I was calling my sister. I'm talking to my bestie, and do you know that those 3 days home were some of the best days I had the whole pregnancy? Now, yes, I was worried about money because they were suspended without pay, and I was just like, how am I can't afford no 3 day setback in a situation. But when I tell you that them pregnant feet was poked up watching shows I haven't watched during the daytime, with the back resting, with the back pillow, with the snacks and the treats, with the children at school, I mean, it just wasn't even a reality for me, right? I was hustling hard. And here it was, I got in the quietness that you weren't going to take those days off. And therefore, source energy created the time for those days off, because in the depths of my heart, even though I was saying one thing, I need the time for after the baby's born. I need my time. I won't take off. I need my time. My heart, shout out to the doc, my soul was crying out for something different, a break. Time to be pregnant without being superwoman, being at peace, right? And there was a time when I was just like, this is unfair. I'm talking all the way home. This is unfair. I'm a victim. And I got home and I realized I was chosen. You have been selected, child, to sit down. You have been selected to sit your big pregnant self down, to rest from getting up at the crack of dawn, to take these kids to school, run to work like you're not pregnant, then get off, do laundry, go to the grocery store, and start it all again tomorrow like you're not 8 months pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there by day 2, McDonald's. I'm loving it. Okay, my sister calling me. How you doing? How you been? I am loving it. I don't want to go back. The sleep, I slept so hard. I slept so long. But it, again, all is working in your favor. Blessing in disguise. And I could go on and on. I don't have the time, right? But I could go on and on about times I got stuck in a situation with somebody. I don't want to be here with this person. I don't even want to be around this person. And then that person transitions. And then the last time you spent time with them was this time that you didn't even plan to be around them, right? Just keeping in mind that it is always, I say, it's working for you. You have to decide to see how it's working for you. We so often want to just see how things are working against us. I'm always delayed. I'm always denied. It never goes. This one, that one. We always want to see how something isn't working. Manifestation, a vision of manifestation, is a vision that has decided to see how it's working. How it's working for me. I recently coined myself a spiritual scientist, right? And when one thing about being a scientist is when you get in that lab, it is cause and effect. It is being able to try things out, research, how does this work? How does that work? To experiment. But everything in the experiment, when you're a scientist, everything in an experiment it goes towards your research. It goes towards your outcome. So you say, let me try this. We all did science projects, right? We had our little hypothesis. And you say, let me try this and let me try that. And then as a scientist, even when it doesn't work, it's building towards the cure or the result you're working towards. Because you say, okay, it didn't work if I did that, but if I do a little less of that, a little bit more of that, right? What didn't work is even helping me. That's research. I want us to be able to train ourselves as we manifest more for ourselves to be able to see how life is working, thus creating a working life. See how life is working, thus creating a working life. Okay? So gratitude becomes the lens of light. It's dark and I can't see how it's working. This is the part. It's dark and I can't see how it's working. I don't see how it benefits me to be away from this person. I don't see how it's working for me to have this much in my bank account. I don't see how it's helping me to not have this dream or this wish come true. I don't see it. Dark. I don't see it. Dark. What becomes the lens of light? Gratitude. Look at your gratitude and watch how you start to see the path form of how it's working in your favor. How God is leaning in your direction. What is that? William Murphy. God is leaning in your direction. I don't see how this is working, but I'm grateful that I have a bank account. I'm grateful that I have an income. I'm grateful that I have something else to look forward to. I have people that I can go to, people that I can call on. I'm grateful that I have a vision, I have my right mind. Okay, I can sit up here and come up with a plan, even if the plan didn't go the way I wanted it to. I'm grateful for the ability to plan, to understand, to create mental energy in its same state. Big flex, okay? Because there are a lot of things out here, drugs and alcohol, trauma, messing with people's train of thought. That train leaves the station and it makes it to its destination. Big flex. Thank you. Thank you. Okay? I'm grateful. Gratitude is a lens of light. Once you cut that light on, you will see more. Once you cut that light on, you will see more. I promise you. Things that you thought you missed, things that you weren't paying attention to, things that could easily go out of your head, over your head. Cut that latitude. I done made up a word I didn't try to. Cut that light of gratitude, the latitude. Cut that gratitude of light on and see once you get the downloads. They come in from conversation. They come in from conversation. They can come in from a commercial. They can come in from the next door neighbor. And all once you put the gratitude light on, you cut that light on, you will start to see what is working for you. And by seeing what is working for you, it is moving you closer to what is working for you. So I'm going to let you go with this because we done gone over an hour, okay? So y'all be with my shenanigans, okay? I love y'all. See, say, so. Okay, this is a quick little thing I want us to remember before we get out of this beautiful moment today and this amazing snow weather we have outside in this cozy cuddle weather. Child, if you got somebody to cuddle with, you're doing great. I hope you're not complaining, okay? See, say, and so. Here's the thing. Remember that how you see this life is what you say about this life, is what you sow into the ground about the life you're living. See, say, so. Ashe, thank you, love. See, say, so. When it comes to manifesting, do know that what you're creating is only what you're seeing. You see exhaustion, you see no way out, a dead end. You see pain, you see resentment, you see rage, you see regret. That's what you're going to talk about, and that's what you're going to plant, and that's what's going to grow in your next season. Yes, next season. You think that the stuff going to show up right now, not only that. Next season, okay? Next season will look like this season because you're seeing it away, you're saying it away, you're sowing it away. But see your season as bountiful. See your season as on your way. See your season as opening up for you. See your season as conditioning and training. See your season as boot camp for the better, best version of yourself. And say that. That's what you'll start to say. When people say, how you doing? You say, oh, I'm learning. I'm living. I'm loving. I'm growing. Instead of saying, I'm not, I'm okay. I sure wish this year was over already. Right. That's what we say. We're saying it. That's what we're creating with dialogue, with our words. So start to see it as I'm growing. I'm in a season of transformation. I'm in the middle of a rebirth. Ooh, nobody said it was going to be easy, but I'm in it and I'm grateful for it. Nobody said that birth was painless at all. But instead of seeing it as a problem that's holding me back, I'm seeing it as a promise that's growing me forward. Okay? Instead of seeing this life and its circumstances as problems that hold me back, I'll see them as a promise that's growing me forward. I still believe in the promise. I still believe in the vision. I still believe in, so yes, the course, the change, right? The players, the game, some of that stuff changes. But what doesn't change is that I'm covered. I choose to see it that way. What doesn't change is that I'm favored. I choose to see all this favor around me. I can't miss it. What doesn't change is the mission. It's always the same. It's been the same since I was a wee little girl. Okay? The mission is the same. I got to see it for what it is. So when I see it, I'll say it. The spirit is strong, definitely strong. I'll say that. I'm not speaking weakness. That's what I see. I'm not speaking defeat because that's not what I see. I'm not speaking pain. That's not what I see. I see growth. I see abundance. I see a woman. I see a man. I see a mission. I see a dream. I see a person. I see power. I see this person who has been undefeated in every life battle because I'm still here. I see favor of a creator that has never left my side, steered me wrong, left me begging or without. See, say, so. That's how it goes. See, say, so. I see this life as a promise towards my victory, towards my unfolding, towards my growing, towards my actualization. And sometimes what I see is going to look a little okay, but I have not lost sight of what's going on. I believe in where I'm going because I decided. I've decided to see this life through gratitude, through love, through victory. You know who sees life how? By the way they speak. I can tell you in the first 5 minutes, even by demeanor, you might not even have to talk. But I can tell you who's seeing life through a lens of light and gratitude, and who's seeing life through a lens of lesson and lack. Who is not at all understanding what comes after the course. Who is not at all really ready for what comes after the chrysalis. Who is not at all conditioned to go through the breakthrough of the wings, to understand what that breakthrough means. I can tell you don't know about your breakthrough. You're not familiar. I don't know what this is. You're not familiar with it. I can tell by the way you're speaking. I know how you see things, by how you say things, and the things that you're saying are sowing a tomorrow for you, honey. And it's going to look like today. And it's going to look like yesterday, because that's what you're speaking on. But see a better you. See a grander us. See a deeper version of this life. See from your bird's eye view. Okay? And say what you see there. I see winning. I see favor. I see abundance. I see health. I see love. I'm going to say this one thing because we over. I was in this frenzy of getting ready, right? I was in this frenzy of getting ready for getting all the food. I was out making provision, right? Getting all the food for this storm. And the grocery stores were swarming, child. It was swarming. This guy, me and him were going for eggs at the same time. I went and I grabbed my eggs. He grabbed his eggs, and I went and took my little cart and turned around. He said, "You are very brave for not checking." So I didn't know what he was saying, right? Because I was just a little bit like, I'll be a little bit on protection guard. Checking what, right? I don't know if he was trying to say I was in his way or what, but what you talking about, I'm brave? I don't know what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So he says, "No, your eggs." He was saying, "You just picked up your eggs and you just left." He was like, "You're real brave for not checking." And it still took me a second, y'all. And I try to think of myself as being sharp, even though Perry does try to come for me. But I couldn't figure out what he was saying exactly. And then he opened his eggs. And I was like, oh, he was like, "To make sure none of them are broken." I told him I never check my eggs. I never check my eggs. I don't even know what you... He says, "No, you're real brave for checking." I'm faithful. I don't know if you want to call it brave. I'm faithful. I'm divine. I'm chosen. I'm favored. See, I don't check the eggs because if they broken, I'm going to scramble it, right? But I told him, I said, I don't check my eggs, and I've never gotten a broken egg. I've never gotten a broken egg in the egg container. And he was just like, "Oh, so now you think I'm brave and I'm lucky." Just favored. It's just the way that what is in this, and I can work with whatever is coming my way. I know who I am. I know whose I am, and therefore I know exactly where I'm going. I do not fear the future. I do not fear this life. I love it. I love it, and I live it to its fullest because I've decided. I've decided to see from my spirit's eye all things in this existence. And I've decided to work from my spiritual core in all things that shall come into its existence. And I know that every small thing, every setback is really a growing season, preparing me for who I am and who I am becoming. And I ain't never been mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I will one more. I'll say this thing. Me and my sister, we just got into. Hi Shring. Me and my sister just got into this thing. We gotta get out of here. Me and my sister, we were dealing with this some shenanigans, right? It was a situation where someone was not being true, and we were able to. We were dealing with a family dynamic, and we were able to like do a little discussion. Like, I don't think that that's how that's really going down. And my sister was like, "Why you think that?" Right? So we doing our little detective work. Um, and come to find out, what I thought was what I thought, right? Little attention hack. I guess somebody was being a little attention getter. You know what I'm saying? We all got them. So I said, so she texted me the next day. She said, "Girl, you were right. How did you know? How did you know?" And they always want to get me with that, right? Because sometimes people think I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. They think I'm out there with my thoughts, but really, I am an observer. I'm a scientist. I'm a spiritual scientist. I'm just seeing how it's coming together, okay? But this is what I told her. A lot of what me and my sisters, my siblings, what we were exposed to younger, a lot of the things that we went through. Some people may choose to see those things as trauma, right? I don't know. Some people choose to resonate more with the trauma of it. I choose to resonate with the training of it. I tell my sister that all the time. The reason I know, the reason I understand, the reason I can peep, I peep it, is because what you saw or what most see as trauma, I see as training. Now listen, can't put nothing past me. I've seen it. I've been exposed to it. I'm in an understanding with this life that some people may not want to be in understanding with, may not want to be that close to knowing things. But whether I chose the road or not, that's the road I was on, and I chose to be trained as opposed to being traumatized. And it's all on how I see it. I seen a thing or two. I know what they say. I know a thing or two because I seen a thing or two, right? The commercial. But how I decide to see this life. I don't choose to make my trauma make me small, make me burnt out, make me pessimistic. I choose to be trained. I choose to let those things that weren't what I wanted them be make me a sharpshooter, make me better at my craft, mission me towards my purpose. That's what I choose. I choose to be able to speak pain because of all the pain I had to grow through, but I don't choose to live in pain. I decide. Decide how you want to see this life. See it, say it, sow it. It's yours, boo. It's all yours. I love you all so much. This has been a long snowed in moment, but we snowed in. Hey, we snowed in. Okay. I need to go get something warm to drink. I need to bake some cookies and watch some movies and things. I hope you all are doing all of that stuff too, because it's a snow day. Say so, y'all. I love you. Thank y'all for joining us. Some people I haven't seen in a long time on here today. I love y'all so much. Go on. Take really good care of yourself. Go make you a little snow angel. If you do that, sled, throw a snowball at a kid or two. Your kid or two. And then, get all warm and cozy. Have a great day. Take really good care of yourself. Take advantage of the world being quiet. Go do some quiet things. Reflect, rebuild. And then after you've done all that, you're cozy, you're warm, you feel good, go on out your way and take really good care of someone else. Thank you so much for joining me for another Moment of Harmony, and I will see you next week for another Moment of Harmony.